Hey everybody, you see the video down below, and hopefully this won't end up in multiple parts, but if it does, I apologize. But basically it says the top 5 underused animated females. And basically what that is basically the female characters that have been underused and really could have done more with, and really more could have been done with them. And I think a lot of people may agree with some of them, with the 5 I select, and you may not, you may not, it's your decision. But to me, these are female characters that they could have been done a lot more with, a lot more. So let's take a look at them, shall we? The first one, of course, is going to be a surprise because she was sort of like one of the top in my top 10 countdown a couple years back. But it's meek. Meek is number 5 because essentially she did get some more appearances besides her 2 shorts that she had, which were Moon Over Minerva and Meet Minerva. So she had 2 shorts, orange of course, solo cartoons, and she had her cameo appearances here and there. She had her debut in Hercule Yako, and then she sort of had like a semi-part or whatever, in this little 11-minute short, or 7-minute short called The Pun, something based on a pun or something like that. But then she had her cameos here and there, as people pointed out. And when I look at this, and then I compare what was done with her in the comic books, I'm thinking, if the comics could do so much more with her there, then why couldn't the television show? And again, I can understand when people are saying that comics are more freelance, they're more, have more freedom to do whatever you want, but I'm thinking, if they could do so much with her there, why can't they do so much with her elsewhere? And to me, it's like, I think they could have done so much more with her. I mean, I take a look at these, I took a look at some of these comics, some of these stories that they did in the comics. And they could have made for some great Minerva Meek shorts, animated shorts, but they never did it. And to me, it's like, well, why wouldn't you want to do it? Because it's so good. It's so well done. It's so good. Why wouldn't you want to create more of these, especially knowing that she's very popular with the fans? And to me, I just feel that she was really underutilized in the show, and just by the fact that they did more with her in the comics, kind of proves they could have done more with her in the show. So that's why she's sort of at number 5, because they did do more with her, but they did it more so in the comics than they did in the show. But she did have her appearances and stuff in the show, but not as much as they could have done with her. Number 4, and oh boy, this is This is a good one, as far as I'm concerned. But I have to go with Monique from Kim Possible. I mean, you take a look at Monique, and you could say, yeah, they did a lot with her. And, they did this and did that. Yeah, they did a lot with her, but they primarily did a lot with her in the Stitch in Time movie. That's what they did. They primarily did more with her there than I think they've ever done in any of the other episodes. So, to me, Monique could have really been used more. And I didn't really watch much Kim Possible, even though I thought it was a great show. I never really had the time because I was working at the times it would come on. So I didn't have, like I said, the opportunity to watch some of it. But maybe people out there probably can correct me, but to me, from what I've seen, Monique could have done a lot. They could have done a lot more with Monique. Honestly, they could have. I mean, you had the team of Ron and Kim and Rufus. That's great, but they showed that you could actually make it a 3-teamer. I mean, yeah, you had Wade. You say they had a 3-teamer, but Wade was more like sitting behind the desk kind of deal. And you had Monique, who wasn't, and you could have had her join Ron and Kim and make it a 3-team. They could have done a lot more with her. And, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did do more with her besides, with the exception of besides, what they did with her in Stitch in Time. But to me, I look at this character and I say they could have done so much more. They could have. I mean, here's the thing. You could have had her fill in for Kim. Like, they could have done an episode where Kim got sick again. And they could have had her fill in with Ron, and they could have been a team. Do they do that? I don't know. But to me, it's like they could have done so much more with her in the show besides just what they did in Stitch in Time, that I think anybody that is a fan of the show would agree with this. So, again, I didn't really watch as much as I would like to because I was working, and I would always probably come home when it was already aired. So, and I'd be tired and everything. So, but basically, I just feel they could have done a lot more. And if they did, let me know. But I feel there was so much more they could have done. Number three. Whew. Ninjara. Yumiko. Yeah, she's not really animated, but she was in a comic book based on the original animated show. So I'm thinking if she's in a comic book based on the original animated show, they could have done a lot with her. And I'll be honest with you, when I saw, I think it was season 8, I believe, or season 9, I believe, whatever season it was, I thought literally she was finally showing up. Heck, when I remember watching the openings for the Red Sky seasons, and I thought one of the scenes had Raphael pushing her and Michelangelo behind the couch. Oh, so they were being attacked, but it wasn't. But instead it was somebody else. I think it was Leonardo, I think. But to me, I thought they could have done so much more with her besides having her in the comics. And she would have made a perfect fit. I mean, yes, you had April. Yes, you had April O'Neil. That was great. That was terrific. Having April O'Neil was great. It was terrific. But to me, you could have done a lot more. A heck of a lot more with Ninjara Yumiko. Yeah, you explored her past and everything in the comics, but you could have done more with her. I mean, heck, they were planning on giving her an animated debut in what was going to be the Mighty Mutant Animals show. That's right, she was going to be in the Mighty Mutant Animals animated cartoon, which never took off. And I'm thinking, if you couldn't use her there, you could have used her in the Turtle seasons, in the Red Sky seasons. She would have fit perfectly. But they didn't do it. I mean, yeah, they showed how much, yeah, they did as much as they can with her from basically from the last page of issue 28 all the way to the last issue she was in. But you could have done a lot more. They could have done a lot more, but they didn't. And to me, it's like, you had a great opportunity to take her from the comics, put her in the cartoon, and do a lot more with her, but you didn't. You didn't. And to me, it's like, why miss out on an opportunity like that? Why? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And speaking of Turtles, this is tied, at number 2, we have sort of a tie, if you will. Let's stay with Ninja Turtles first. Number 2, Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, just like Ninjara, is a character that they could have done a lot more with. And Mona Lisa basically had her animated debut. She debuted in the season 4 episode, Raphael Meets His Match. They could have easily done more with her outside of that episode, but they didn't. They didn't. And to me, it boggles my mind why they didn't. I mean, just like Ninjara, they had the opportunity to do more with her, but they didn't. It's like she follows them back to the lair with April, or she goes back to the lair with April, and that's all you see of her. That's it. You don't see anything else. And to me, it's like, you have this opportunity, you had this great opportunity in the palm of your hands, and you didn't take it. Why? just like with Ninjara at number 3, tied at number 2, Mona Lisa, they could have done a lot more. Just like they could have done a lot more with Ninjara. But tied along with Mona Lisa at number 2, from Disney, Roxanne. Roxanne! For goodness sakes. You put her in the movie, the Goofy movie, and she sort of falls under the same category as Minerva. You did a hell of a... Disney did more with her in the comics than they did afterwards. I mean, here was the perfect opportunity to do new episodes of Goof Troop, brand new animated episodes of Goof Troop, put her in there as a continuation from the movie, and just go with it. But they didn't do more with her. The only other animated appearance she had was in House of Mouse, in the episode Max's Embarrassing Date. And that was it. That was it. You didn't... I mean, that's all you had of Roxanne. Hello, you had a whole door, a whole opportunity, with her to work with, and you don't take advantage of it. If I was looking at Disney, if I was in charge, I would have said, let's put her in let's make some new Goof Troop episodes, continuing off the movie, and let's put her in there. I mean, seriously. And again, she falls under the same category as Minerva Meek. She falls under that same category. Basically the category of they did more with her in the comics than they would have done with her in animation. And to me, that's BS. They could have done more with Roxanne in animation as well as just in the comic book, Disney comic adventures. They could have done more. And that's why she, along with the other ones, are underutilized. Or underused. They could have done a lot more with her. But speaking of Disney, the number one underused female character, this may surprise you. Let me check my time here before I tell you. But this may surprise you, but the number one underused animated female, in my opinion, out of this top 5, is Fawn Deer from Disney's Bonkers. Yeah, I know you're thinking, Fawn Deer? Well, how is she underutilized? Let me explain. She may have appeared in a lot of the He's Bonkers shorts. A majority of them. But sometimes it was just like for a few scenes and that's it. Yeah, she'd be in an adventure here and there, but whatever. But Disney had a great opportunity to do a lot with her in the animated show itself. I mean, in the pilot, when she looks back and sees that everybody's gone, doesn't know what's happened, Disney could have easily had her look up, see the thing that caught her friends, and had her run and run right up to Bonkers. So at least Bonkers would have somebody to be with him. And in that way, you could explore the opportunity of what it would be like to have not one, but two cartoon cops working with Lucky. 2 of them. It would have worked great. And if that's not the case, look at the Miranda episodes. You could have done a lot more with her there. A lot more. And what do I mean? I mean that they could have done so much more. It's not funny. They could have done so much more with her in the Miranda episodes. Besides just Casablanca appearance. Besides the cowboy story that Bonkers was telling Miranda's nephew. They could have done more. They could, besides, her appearance, if you will, in Toon's Dream of Animated Sheep. They could have done so much more. And I think they were planning to, but the episodes that didn't make it got canned. I mean, hold on for a second.